The preseason section of Season 7 has finally come to an end, and everybody's arena points have now been reset, which means it's time to start the grind up through the ranks once again. Have you guys had trouble, edging your way out of contender division every season? Or, do you just have trouble just grinding out through the rank of arena? Hey, Bunch of Course Army, where you at? Your motivation guy. That's right, guys. I am back, and today, we have the perfect video for you. It's time to go over the best tips to gain arena points fast this season. And without further ado, let's get this going. One of the best ways to improve your fighting skills and coincidentally to gain points at a rapid speed is to take as many fights in arena as you can. Basically, guys, that means you're going to be playing for 7 or more kills every single game to make the best progress. Now, okay, playing for kills doesn't actually mean, W King and just hot dropping every single game that you play in. In fact, really the best ways to win all your fights this season is by playing a bit more defensively. Instead of just rushing in at the speed of light, you're going to want to engage in more box fights instead of just like a W key style build off. Alright, so start off by landing at a drop spot of your preference. Don't try to make it close to a big POI like the spires that can be found around Retail Row or Pleasant Park. By landing somewhere that is easily accessible but a little bit less well traveled than the big POIs on the map, you're going to guarantee yourself to have better loot than the opponents that just fight off spawn, which will make surviving the early game a whole lot easier. After looting up your drop spot as fast as you can, rotate around to the big POI that you landed next to. However, okay, don't think that you could just jump straight into someone's box. Instead, you should wait for other players to start fighting. And as soon as you hear shotgun blasts start to ring out, switch to aggression and just spray them from the back while they fight. Okay, third partying like this minimizes the risk to you, and it's gonna let you at least get like a couple of kills off spawn. And the loot that you get from doing this will allow you to take fights confidently for the rest of the game. Taking fights is always going to be risky. And if you're still struggling to fight well after, looting up properly, then you should definitely check out ProGuides.com. We've got an army of pro coaches ready and waiting to help you guys improve fast. They're going to play alongside you in your games and give you tailor-made feedback one-on-one so you can know exactly how to improve. Okay, so now that you've wiped out that big POI, all right, find yourself, some kind of a vehicle and just start driving to other POIs or closer to the middle of the map. Okay, so you can find players pretty easily if you're in a car. You'll just need to make sure that you hop out of the vehicle before you get beamed by somebody with an AR. So if you see 2 players fighting while you're driving around, just wait things out and just, play sneakily like we explained in the previous strategy. Okay, so if you spot a player who is alone and you think the fight is gonna be easy, okay, let them come closer to you and then you engage with a sniper or an AR beam. So what you need to always make sure of, guys, is that you are the aggressor in every fight, but in such a way that you can move things into a box fight that allows you to play safely behind your own walls. And so by playing defensively, you're going to win a lot more of your fights because you're going to be able to exploit your opponent's impatience. If you do manage to get hit hard by your enemy, you can easily reset your walls, okay, tunnel backwards, and heal right back up. After you've healed, come back at your opponent and box them up through on your wall, using strategies like the peanut butter peek to stay in control of the fight. On the subject of strategies, you should also try the no array lead cone phase in all of your fights, man. Whenever an opponent is in front of you, you can just crouch spam and place a cone or ramp straight through their wall. To summarize this section of the video, okay, always make sure you're playing slow and defensively so you can exploit the impatience of your opponent and never get into a situation where you're taking a 50-50 with your opponent. Okay, so now that you know the best tips and tricks for managing a fight defensively, let's go over some of the best ways that you can position yourself throughout the rest of the match to see yourself to victory. As you move into the smaller zones of the end game, there's basically no point in just W King anymore. You're only going to get a couple more kills at the most because of how few people end up in the end of an arena match. Instead, you should always just look to position yourself better than your opponent by staying ahead of the zone and just playing on the congested side and just griefing your opponents, all while managing to avoid any storm fights. Avoiding storm fights, it is crucial in any situation. But fighting when the storm is coming in and during an endgame specifically is going to get you killed much more often than not. And so instead, make sure that you utilize your launch pads so you can stay way ahead of zone. 2 great ways of just launch padding in the end game are short padding and bounce padding like you're a trick shotter. Short pad is a great way to stay ahead of every moving zone and will help you win more and more games when used correctly. However, I will say this, whenever you have, elevation, you should always look to bounce pad. Short padding is pretty simple. All you need to do is just place a ramp over your head to angle your bounce forward. Bounce padding will require you to place a ramp over your head and a floor in front of it. This will bounce you incredibly far and will allow you to move much faster without pulling your glider. Using launch pads in these ways are incredibly good methods to really stay ahead of every zone and will keep you from taking any ticks, at the edge of the zone, especially on low ground. Playing a height is still viable if you don't have launch pads, but doing that will end up making you use way more mats and you're likely gonna die because of it. So overall, make sure that you're griefing on your opponents by just boxing up next to them and getting them targeted while managing to stay ahead of every zone.
But your course, it's time for the question of the day. Okay, so how many arena points did you manage to earn last season? Okay, let us know in the comments below. We're gonna read every single one of them. Can't wait to see it. All right, back to the video.
Something almost every single arena player has probably noticed is the constant third parties and how players keep taking fights at such low HP. The main reason is because a lot of players choose to carry no white heals and end up with 130 HP and just no way to heal up. So to avoid this, always look to carry 6 minis, med kits or floppers. And so by just looking at this, you can probably tell that fishing is the best way of having the perfect amount of heals. Slurp fish are obviously the best types of heals to carry alongside minis, as they can really be used for white heals and shield. And so you can use white heals to disengage and even run into the storm and survive an intense fight. So make sure that you always fish whenever the option's available to you, as it really allows you to have an HP and time advantage over your opponents. Many POIs and drop spots don't have access to fishing, but if you drive around the map looking for kills, you'll most likely find a llama or a player with a chug cannon. In our opinion, guys, carrying a chug cannon is the most overpowered thing that you can do in solo arena, as you can just pop minis and fully heal your HP. So playing defensively with a chug cannon helps a ton. Since the cannon refills over time, it can be reused. Chug cannons fit the defensive playstyle perfectly and only sacrifices one slot in your inventory. Okay, so now that you know the best tips for solo arena, find teammates you can enjoy and just play for longer times. Playing duos or trios with players around your skill level is a great way of improving your teamwork and communication, and it really helps you win a lot of games. If your team plays together methodically, you can win every single game with absolute ease and won't even have trouble just dying over and over in ways that make you just want to break your setup. So playing with teammates will help you grind out arena. It also helps you have the most enjoyable experience, which is obviously the most important, especially since solos are very stressful. You can start looking for an arena teammate in many different ways as well, whether you find them on social media, Discord, East Open, or even Creative Fields. Alright guys, so the last but probably the most important tip that you need to utilize in-game is having the best drop spot possible. Whether it is for solos or duos or trios, drop spots matter when it comes to having in-game loot and surviving off spawn. Like I said previously, always look to have a drop spot close to a hot POI. Make sure it has a decent amount of fishing spots and practice it until you learn it better than anybody else. Landing at the same spot helps you win your arena games and even practice for tournaments without even realizing it. And so a great way of knowing the best drop spots for any game mode is by watching ProGuides. So check out this drop spot video and stay tuned for more videos and shorts.
Guys, Arena is here, and it's finally your chance to climb up through the ranks once again so that you can qualify for the tournaments in the Champions Division. Are you guys excited about this? Well, by following the tips that we've outlined in today's video, you've got a much better chance of coming out on top and winning your games. And I'm cheering for you guys. I'm your #1 fan, and so you can do it. Clear that mind, get the right mentality, and nothing's gonna stop you. Hey, if you guys liked the video, make sure you sub to the channel. Connect to me on my Instagram at Your Motivation Guy. I'm your motivation guy, for real, for real. So keep going, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.